cozy friends, and welcome back to my cozy corner. If you are new here, hi, I am Morgan, and I love to unravel my anxious mind with my cozy hobbies, mostly reading and knitting. And if that is your vibe, I would love it if you would subscribe and stick around for future cozy videos. Today we are going to be unraveling and chatting about the things that I've been loving lately that have been bringing me comfort in this crazy season of life. If you don't already know, we recently moved abroad to Australia. We've been here for just at a month now. If you want to know more about why we moved abroad, you can watch this video up here. But I'm really leaning into my comforts right now as we're getting settled in. I'm still trying to really feel like myself, settling into a completely new place and new chapter in life. But before I jump into what's been bringing me comfort, I'd love to hear down in the comments what has been bringing you comfort lately. So it is autumn here in Australia. And I am such an autumn girly. I am actually a fall baby, but while we live here, my birthday is definitely gonna be in spring here in Australia. It is so crazy to be in a different hemisphere and be experiencing different seasons than everyone I know back home. We left the States just as we were going into the spring there. Things were starting to bloom, and then we came here, went right back through daylight savings time, and all the leaves are falling. It is really beautiful, but I feel like my body and brain are going right back into hibernation season because it is so cold outside. So we're just taking things slow and taking time to settle in. I actually have a video planned soon to talk about why I think the comfort zone is so important and why I think it's so important to comfort your soul when you have stepped outside of your comfort zone. So let me know down below if you'd like a video like that. Honestly, going right back into fall is just another reason for me to keep on knitting, and I have a whole new knitting season for lots of cardigans and sweaters. So that leads me right into the first topic of today, what I'm making lately. So if you don't already know, I am a knitter and I have just finished my mossy cardigan. This is actually the Lazy Cat cardigan by Kotova Kika. I'm calling it my mossy cardigan because I think I picked this pattern out after our trip up to Acadia in the States, up in Maine, because I was so inspired by the beautiful moss everywhere and I wanted something that made me feel like I was just laying in a bed of moss. And I will say that this is that. I actually have bought 2 sets of buttons for this, and I've been so indecisive that the whole time I was working on the button band, I said, by the time you finish this, you need to have picked the buttons. But I haven't put them on because I'm still scared to commit. You can tell me down in the comments which ones you would go with. I am so in love with wearing this cardigan, but I do feel like I made the button band and collar a little bit too tight for me, but that is not a problem with the pattern. That's just a problem with the size I chose to knit up and some alterations I made when picking up stitches on the button band. But overall, I think it turned out really cute. Also started working on this color work beanie. I will put the pattern on the screen right here. I am pretty new to color work. I've only ever done a couple beanies. I've never done like a full-size sweater or anything in color work. I'm scared too because it's so easy to get your tension off, but I really enjoy the process of color work. I feel like when you are following the charts, it works up so quickly because you're like, oh, just one more row. But then you do a couple more rows and you're like already at the decreases of the beanie. It's a lot bigger of a commitment if you're doing a whole sweater though. Speaking of sweaters, I'm also working on the August sweater. I will put the pattern on the screen right here. I bought this yarn when we first got here because I wanted to check out some of the craft stores here and see what my options were gonna be. And I loved this chocolate brown wool and really wanted to make a sweater out of it. I love knitting up cables. I find it so satisfying. The folklore cardigan was one of my first knits, and I'll put the video up here of me talking about everything I made in 2023, which includes the folklore cardigan. And it has so many cables and I loved working that up. Honestly, the pattern was not written very well in retrospect, but that was one of my first patterns that I had knit. So I thought it was my fault that I didn't understand a lot of it, but it wasn't. It's a problem a lot of knitters have. It's just not very well written, but it turned out beautifully, even though I made lots of mistakes along the way in my learning process. I wanted to talk about what I'm wearing, but I also need to talk about where I'm sitting. I have a new cozy corner. We have been going to IKEA a lot. My husband's favorite place in the world is IKEA, and back in the States, Lowe's, but I'm sure soon he will love the hardware and plant stores here. but this chair was on sale and we could not say no because we had this empty corner, and I love to have a cozy space where I can sit and knit and read and journal. Having a cozy corner in our house has been the best thing I've done for self-care. Back home, it was up in our bedroom so that I had space away from the family when I needed to take a break. If you are a mom, you get it. I love my son so much, but I need some space. But here it is in our living room, but it's still bringing me so much joy to have a nice cozy place to curl up with a blanket and unravel. Next, let's chat about what I'm reading. I have been reading so much more this year, completely on Kindle, because we moved abroad, so all of my books are in storage. I haven't checked out the library here yet. If you want to know more about why I love my Kindle, you can watch this video up here. I'd really like to make a video all about all the books I've read so far this year, but I may wait for a mid-year wrap-up to do that. I am currently reading The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. I decided to finally pick up this book, and I think it was one of those decisions of, I think this will bring me comfort right now. A Darker Shade of Magic is one of my favorite trilogies, one of my favorite series. So I really wanted to step back into the world of the Londons. Fragile Threads of Power is basically I wouldn't say spin-off, but it's a follow-up series to A Darker Shade of Magic, which is a world about 4 Londons, and they all have varying degrees of relationships with magic, and then very special magicians have the ability to travel between these parallel Londons. Our favorite characters from A Darker Shade of Magic are present in this series, but it's like years later, and it is such a treat getting to be back in this world, and it has been bringing me so much comfort. A Darker Shade of Magic is actually available on Kindle Unlimited if you are subscribed to that and looking for a good book recommendation. Now let's talk about what I'm listening to. Obviously, the Tortured Poets department is still on repeat, but let's talk about what songs I have on replay. Down Bad, Guilty as Sin, I Hate It Here, Love of My Life, I'm Gonna Get You Back, and The Prophecy. I mean, honestly, the whole album is on repeat, and I could have just kept naming songs, but those are like my favorites and my replays right now, and I'd love to know below what your favorite Tortured Poets department tracks are. Now let's chat about what I am watching. I've been rewatching New Girl with my husband. It is such a comfort rewatch. I think when you are in a trying season of life, it is so important to revisit a show that brings you comfort and joy. My son literally sang along with the intro. We also watched Tangled again this week, which was one of my favorite Disney princess movies. I honestly resonate with her so much. As someone who grew up with her own version of a Mother Gothel, except my tower was the church. If you know, you know. Another thing I've been watching is Cozy Gamers. I've always watched people play my favorite games online, but since becoming a mom, I don't have as much time for gaming. So I really like to watch my favorite Cozy Gamers. I watch a lot of Sims videos. My favorites are Lil Simsy. Lil Simsy is currently doing her May fundraiser for St. Jude, so definitely stop in and watch her streams on Twitch. James Turner has been doing another fun series of like putting his Sims through horrible challenges that are stressing him out, but it is so de-stressing for me to watch. I also really love Cozy K. She makes videos all about self-care, mental health, and cozy gaming. And City Planner Plays, I found him when I was pregnant with my son, which is like over 2 years ago now. And he is basically the Bob Ross of gaming. Like his vibes are just so chill, but he's like an actual city planner that plays city simulation games like City Skylines, which is really fun and relaxing to watch. Cozy things I've been eating. I've been eating Tim Tams a lot since we got here. They're so yummy. They're like little shortbreads that are covered in chocolate, and it's an Australian thing. I had to partake. I had to try them out. Love them so much that we pick them up every time we go to the store. My son's always asking for a cookie now. I also got some delicious lavender tea, and I've been becoming way more of a tea girly now. I don't know if it's like by choice or by just being in Australia and there's not a lot of coffee options. Especially because we've been in a perpetual state of cold seasons. Cozy things I've been doing. We've been going on autumnal walks every day, which has been so good for me, my brain, and obviously my son. He needs to get energy out. There's a park right down the road, which has been so amazing. I really, really love having access to a nice place for him to run around. And we made friends. This has honestly changed my life. Making a mom friend, period, but also making a friend since being here is something I needed so badly. I've been feeling honestly very lonely since becoming a mom. It's so hard to make friends and have time for friendships anytime I try to even talk to my husband, my son yells over us, and obviously, you know, he's only 2, so it's not like we can teach him that many manners. He wants attention. We had a little play date with the mom friend I made, and Arthur was able to run around and play while we had like a real conversation over tea, and it was honestly life-changing for me. And she's so wonderful. Our families all got together this weekend, so my husband became friends with her husband, and they are literally our neighbors, so it couldn't be a better setup. I am so thankful to finally have a mom friend. It made me feel very empowered in my own motherhood, because seeing how other mothers are doing things, you just start to validate yourself and that you're not the only one struggling and just doing your best. So that has honestly changed everything since we got here for me. I feel so much better. I feel way more at peace with being on the other side of the world from everything I've ever known. Speaking of being away from everything I've ever known, one of the things that has been bringing me a lot of comfort, I think scent is very important. I had a candle business back in the States, but I had to put it on hiatus while we are abroad. I think scent can play a huge role in making us feel comforted. So I actually bought a case to be able to bring a bunch of my oils, and I've been using some of my favorite perfume scents from my candle/perfume business, and it's been bringing me so much comfort. But I missed my candles so much because I really couldn't bring them. We only brought what we could fit into our suitcases, so I really couldn't bring my candles. I decided to order some. There was this candle business I followed on YouTube the whole time I was running mine, and I took so much inspiration from them. It's 2 friends that just opened a candle business together, and they are like doing the damn thing. They have a YouTube, they're so successful. I really wanted to support them, but in the States, as someone who makes my own candles, I wasn't gonna spend the shipping to get candles from Australia. Once I was here, I was like, you know, I really could use some candles, and I think I should support them. So right here I have Into the Forest Burning. My husband is obsessed with Smooth Affogato, which is their coffee scent. It reminds him a lot of my coffee scent, which was Fill Your Cup, and that was a fan favorite. I think that was my best selling candle. So it's really nice to have that back in our home, or an alternative to it. And every order plants a tree in Australia, so it's like helping the environment. Their candles are eco-friendly, natural ingredients, so I'm very excited to have those burning in my home. I get migraines from candles that are made with icky ingredients, so I have to be very selective, and that's why I started making my own. I really want to thank you for watching, getting cozy and unraveling all the things that have been bringing me comfort lately. If you liked the cozy vibes with this video, I hope you will subscribe and stick around for future cozy videos. For even more cozy content, I'd love for you to be my friend on Instagram, and I hope you have a very cozy week.